All right. So we got to talk about Ben Sulayem. We really do. We really do. Because Ben, he's talking loose. Ben, he is talking loose to the journos right now. I don't know what his advisors told him. If they said this was a good idea or what have you. It's definitely not a good idea. If I'm being as generous as possible with him, then I have to say someone is setting him up. They told him, "Oh, put this in the media. It'll be good." You gotta gauge the temperature or something. You're not even supposed to talk about it. But anyway, there's this news article here. Massey F1 return open as FIA wants 3 race directors. FIA President Mohammed bin Sulayem has stated his desire for a minimum of 3 race directors. Okay. So Sulayem, he's Ben 10 now. I suppose he wants his Alien X for race directors. He wants his Triple Force. Now he wants his Triple Threat, his Triforce, his Trifecta. He wants 3. Why he wants 3? Because I'm gonna assume, it's less corruptible than just one guy or something. Listen, you can corrupt 3 just as easily as you can corrupt 1. Okay, that's number 1. That's all the same thing. Especially in this F1 space, you understand? This is why you need someone of really strong character. We took Charlie Whiting for granted. Here we were complaining, Charlie's keeping them under safety car for too long. Like that was the peak of complaints that we got about Charlie Whiting. He's keeping them under safety car too long. But now with Massey, we've got a whole season's worth of complaints, capped off by Abu Dhabi, which is its own fucking unique problem that only Massey could cook up. But anyway, let's get into what Ben 10 has said here, right? Let's get into this. Oh my God, I can't even believe we have to talk about the. Okay, I just gotta say this off the jump. If Massey gets reinstated, I'm done with this F1 thing. Really, I'll go watch rugby or some shit. I don't give a fuck. But I'll be done with this F1 thing. There'll be no more. I won't be watching no more F1. I frankly want. There'll be nothing of. You know what'll happen when they bring Messi back? They'll have him say, right? They'll script him. They'll have him say that, or he wouldn't have banned Lewis Hamilton's jewelry. He would have let him race with the jewelry, with the bling. Right, and that will muddy the waters, and now people are gonna have all their takes on it, and I just couldn't be asked. I just couldn't be asked with all of that. Because it's all just a game to them. But anyway, let's get into what Ben 10 has said here, what he's let slip to the media of all the things to do. This guy really lacks self-awareness. But anyway, Ben says, and I quote, "I didn't get rid of Michael. He had a personal overload, a work overload, safety delegate as well as race director, and he made a mistake." Okay, we've got to address that off the jump. Off the rip, we have to address that. Because Charlie Whiting, he was policing the technical side, making sure the tracks were safe enough to race on, and running a fair race every Sunday. By himself. Yeah, he probably had some guys working under him here and there, but that was by himself. Massey, he doesn't even have to worry about checking for the technical side of these rigs. That's not in his remit. So he's got less work to do than what Charlie Whiting had to do, and yet he's overworked. Okay, make it make sense, Ben 10, because it doesn't make sense. Because right now it doesn't make sense. And likewise, he made a mistake. No. Making a mistake would mean that your Red Bulls and your Mercedes, none of the teams would have been able to talk to him on the blower and influence him. He got influenced. Okay, that's not a mistake. He got influenced. And he made a decision after being influenced. That's what he did. He looked at the rule book, he skirted that to the side, and he said, okay, my friend at Red Bull, Horner's buddy, or Wheatley, who knows, but my friend at Red Bull, he needs this done for him. Okay, so I'm gonna make it happen. And then he made it happen. And also what happened, I don't have to repeat it. He made it happen. So that's not a mistake. That's just a weak man caving to pressures that are around him. That's not a mistake. Anyway, next quote. It is not as if we said it is the end of Massey with the FIA. This line alone, listen here, you don't have to say it's the end of Massey with the FIA. It's over. It's over, Ben. You can't even... You see, this providing quotables to the media, even here you've crossed the line, right? You could have told... Who's this journo? Yeah, you could have told Sam Hall, all right? You could have told him, look, this is off the record, okay? If you're going to write an article on this, you make it an opinion piece. You do not mention my name. You do not provide any quotes from me, none of that. That's what he should have done. Instead, he's provided quotables. So listen, Ben. It's the end of Massey. It's over. He can never touch this Formula One space again. It doesn't matter how many years of grooming you put into this guy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He fucked up so royally, okay? The degree of his fuck up is to such an extent that he shouldn't even be in the apparatus anymore. He should... Of course, he's still contracted to the FIA. He's filing papers in the back, collecting his hush money, right? Sure, pay him his hush money, but he shouldn't even be in the apparatus anymore. You understand? So it's over for Massey. Forget about what you think, Ben 10. It's over. You can't put him back in the seat. Alright? Let's get back to the quotes. I don't do that sort of thing. Even people who didn't vote for me, I embrace. We don't think of individuals. We think of the operation itself. Okay. Now, if you're thinking of the operation itself, and you're well intended, right? You're thinking for the good of the operation, right? Massey can't factor into that after Abu Dhabi. After Abu Dhabi. We could say after the whole 2021 season, because there was a whole lot of tomfoolery that he oversaw over there. But just after Abu Dhabi, he can't factor in to the operation. He can't be good for the operation. Even talking about him in a thought experiment type of way like you've done here, Ben 10, you can't do that. You absolutely can't do that. You want to know why you can't do that? Well, because this guy was ready to throw away all the goodwill and history that F1 has built up over half a century and more. Over what? Over him getting corrupted by team principals. How weak a race director is that? If you're thinking of the operation itself, you can't have a weak race director like that. He's so weak in character, he actually let himself get turned on TV. Forget national TV, this was international feed. He let himself get turned on the international feed right before our very eyes. Right before our very motherfucking eyes. Some of us recorded that shit. We can watch it back at any second. I frankly don't want to. So no, you're never thinking of the operation itself when you mention Massey. Okay? Doesn't matter if he didn't do anything bad to you, Ben. It doesn't matter. The simple fact is, for the good of Formula One and motorsports in general, quite frankly, Massey needs to be completely removed from the space. Completely. He needs to go be an accountant or something now. You see? He can't be touching motorsports at all. What he did in Abu Dhabi is akin to to Briatore and Pat Simmons fixing a race in Singapore. It's akin to that. Briatore, he got a lifetime ban. Massey should be getting a lifetime ban. That's the bottom line. So if you're thinking of the operation itself, you're not thinking of individuals. Well, you are right now. But anyway, if you're thinking of all of this that you say you are, then guess what? Massey can't factor in. But anyway, let's carry on. I don't know Michael very well. The decision to remove him as race director was made by the World Council. It was human error on Michael's part. Okay, listen, it's not human error. Michael's just weak. He's just weak. So he's wholly unsuited to the role of race director because he is weak in character. Now, the decision to remove him was made by the World Council, so it's above you. It's above you, Ben. You don't, there is no bringing him back. This decision was made above your head. Right? Why did they make that decision above your head? Right? The World Council. Why did they do that? Well, let me tell you why. Because they can't sacrifice this F1 space for your groomed project here, Massey. They can't do that. They cannot sacrifice the whole apparatus just to satisfy your urge to have Massey running the race. They cannot do that. Matter of fact, to satisfy anyone's urge to have Massey run the race, they can't do that. They can't afford that. This is a multi-billion-dollar space. They can't afford to sacrifice that for your pet project, Michael Massey over here. They can't do that. That's why the World Council made that decision. Right? They didn't want to change the championship, change who won the championship, because now that unseats the value of watching the live events or what have you. So they didn't want to do that. Fine. But they had to make a decision. Someone had to be the fall guy. Someone had to be the fall guy. Couldn't be any of the team personnel from either team. Couldn't be that. Couldn't be any of the drivers. They weren't going to let that happen. Mind you, so Lewis Hamilton, he has been the fall guy, but anyway. But they couldn't let that happen. So who had to be the fall guy? Someone had to fall. Someone had to fall to balance the scales somewhat. At least attempt to. That's Massey. That's the World Council's decision. So this is above Ben 10's head. They got more authority than you, Ben, on this issue. And they made the correct decision to actually get him out. Half of the correct decision. But anyway. And now, I've said this already, it's not human error. That was not human error. That guy's weak and he's corruptible. So he's not fit for purpose at all. Doesn't matter if you know him or not. Alright, Ben, it doesn't matter if you know him or not. Your candidate here, he's just completely weak for the role. He's not built for it. He's not built for it. Moving on to the next quotes. I can't believe he's provided quotables, man. Like none of his predecessors would. Even a Max Mosley would never be providing such quotables to the media. Jean Todt never. Max Mosley never. Balestra never. Bernie Eccleston never. This Ben guy, he just lacks self-awareness as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how he got voted into this FIA president role. It just blows my mind. But anyway, he must have bought the votes or some shit. But anyway, I didn't say we were getting rid of him. Back to the quotes. I said we might use him. You can't even humor that. Let me finish the quote, goddamn. So, I didn't say we were getting rid of him. I said we might use him. He may be in a good place to use. We are open to everything. Okay, Ben 10, listen. You can't be open to this. Alright? There are certain things that are blacklisted. And you simply can't do those. You know, let's assume they've got some technology. There's some secret technology to revive the dead. Well, no one's going to revive Charlie Whiting. That's crossing lines. Okay, so you're not open to everything. So you literally cannot be open to everything. So bringing Massey back, that's off the table. He's blacklisted. he's blacklisted. You can't talk about him. You can't put him back in a position of power. You can't do anything of that nature. He's failed. He's filing papers, collecting his hush money. That's all he's doing now. You don't get to humor this idea of him being a trifecta of race directors. Matter of fact, you don't even get to fix your mouth to say this to the media, to say we might use him. You don't even get to fix your mouth to say that. Alright, Ben, you gotta have enough self-awareness for this. Our race structure was wrong organizationally. And though we have brought in 2 new race directors, I wouldn't say we have got it all right yet. We need to clean the stable. Okay, if you need to clean the stables, guess what? Massey, he is the filthiest horse in the stable. You've got golden stables, okay? All the other horses, they do their business outside the stable. Massey, he took a shit in the stable. Golden stable, he took a shit in the stable. Alright, he closed his eyes and said, oh Lord, I just gotta get this up. And it came out. So if he needs to clean the stables, Massey cannot ever be a part of that. Well, he's definitely not a part of the clean stables. But if you're cleaning the stables and you're emptying out all the tripe and detritus from there, well, guess what? Massey, he's part of that tripe and detritus. He's out. He's out. I wouldn't say we have got it all right yet. Yeah, you're probably a part of the problem, Ben. You're probably a damn part of the problem. Our race structure was wrong organizationally. How? How, Sway? None of the... You see what's fascinating, right? Is that if... here was my ideal scenario for this Abu Dhabi 2021. Here's my ideal scenario. I didn't care who won. Be it Sir Lewis Hamilton, be it Max Verstappen. I didn't care who won. I just wanted them to stay as far away from each other as possible. If Verstappen drives 20 seconds up the road, he's gapping Sir Lewis Hamilton, so be it. So be it. It's better for me, quite frankly. At least I don't have to worry about any real tomfoolery going on the fucking set. If Sir Lewis Hamilton is driving away, he's gapping Verstappen, so be it. Better that than, these unpoliceable fucking incidents happening between these two. Better that, especially in the race, and especially in the season finale. That would just be disastrous. Well, it happened. It was actually fixed to happen that way, but anyway. So when you say here that the race structure was wrong organizationally, if Verstappen had gapped Sir Lewis Hamilton, this would never be coming out. Massey still has a job, regardless of how much he failed repeatedly over the course of 2021. Regardless of that, you would not be saying this. Probably wouldn't even be bringing in extra race directors. There wouldn't be a second. There wouldn't be a third. But, oh, you can't say that out loud, can you, Ben? Anyway. I can't believe he said this line. Does he realize, you're running Formula 1, mate. You're the pinnacle of motorsport. All the motorsports beneath that is your supermarket. Anyway, let's get to the quote. It's not like going to a supermarket and asking for some more stewards. You need firm and fair people, tolerant people. Okay, listen. If you're talking firm and fair, then Massey, you've disqualified him. You've disqualified him from the contest. If you are talking firm and fair people, I love Massey, you're disqualified. So here, when you're saying earlier on that, we might bring Massey back, but we need firm and fair people, you say later on, you've disqualified Massey with your own words. With your own words, Ben 10, you've disqualified him. But this one is really just some piece of work. It's not like going to a supermarket and asking for some more stewards. You're Formula 1. You're Formula 1. You're the pinnacle of motorsport. You can go to any of these motorsports and say, hey, I want a new steward for F1. Go to WEC. Go WEC. Grab a steward there. Oh, look at that. It's easy. Easy money. Go F2, grab a steward there. Go IndyCar, grab a steward there. Go MotoGP, grab it. You've got the whole of motorsport is your supermarket. This is what being Formula One is. So yes, believe it or not, Ben, this is why you gotta have some self-awareness about you. Believe it or not, it is like going to the supermarket. You're Formula One. You're not running Formula Renault or some shit. Like, please. Please. You're president of the FIA. You gotta be aware of this. You're not running Formula Renault. You're not running Formula Ford. You're not running Formula 4. You're running Formula One. You're at the top of the motorsports hierarchy. Everything beneath you, you can shop from. The teams do that. Oh, I like that driver in that series. Let's get him. And look at that. They get him. Oh, there's this interesting designer coming through. Well, I guess not a designer. Well, there's an interesting designer in WEC. Let's take him. And they take him. Oh, there's an interesting engineer doing bits in IndyCar. He's setting up all these guys' cars brilliantly. In whichever team, Andretti Green Racing or what have you. Oh, he's setting up all their cars brilliantly. You take him. This is Formula One. Everything beneath you, that's your supermarket. And there's a lot of things beneath you. A lot. So Ben, please have some self-awareness when you're talking about this Formula One space now. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to bust out some theories as to how you got this role as FIA president. Really am. But anyway, back to these quotes. Can't believe he said firm and fair people when talking about Messi. Is he on drugs? Anyway, I am thinking, for example, of bringing in rally co-drivers who have plenty of multitasking skills. Now you see, this is a good idea. This is a good idea. Who have plenty of multitasking skills that are required and training them up. We need a recruitment drive. Okay, Ben, I'll give you some credit. That's a good idea. Look at that. There's no Messi in any of that. None of this relates to Messi. And oh, it's a good idea. I will give you credit for that. That's a good one. Do that. You can run that one. You can run that one and ain't no one gonna complain. Ain't no one gonna say, ooh, that guy is a little sketch. No one's gonna do that. Mind you, you're gonna be training them up. Who knows? If you give them the same training that you gave Messi, well, it's a screw job either way. But oh well, Ben wants a recruitment drive for the FIA. Sure, that's fine. Do your thing. Do your thing. That's a good suggestion. The rest of your quotables that you've provided here, absolute bollocks. Bollocks. I don't even know how you fixed your mouth to say them. Like, you're VVIP. You're one of the most important people in the F1 apparatus, and you somehow fixed your mouth to air this bullshit, to air these quotables to the media. They're quoting you here, Ben. It's not like you said this off the record, right? It's not like you said, I'm gonna give you this off the record, Sam. Just make it an opinion piece or something. Don't mention that I said this. There's no quotes in here. You can edit my quotes to your heart's content, so they can have the same type of contextual meaning. But I never said any of this. This is all off the record. You could run that, but now you provided quotables. So in all your quotables here, only your last 2 points are worth actually taking seriously. But you're humoring this idea of bringing Messi back. I don't care if it's for 2023. You absolutely cannot do that. You absolutely cannot. He's off the table. But bringing in rally co-drivers and they're like, cool, run that. Retired team principals maybe do that. Retired drivers who probably don't know what to do with themselves here. They're not going into the journal. They're not doing the TV pundit route. Bring them in. What's Jan Magnussen doing? Oh, we wouldn't trust Jan Magnussen to police his own son properly, right? So why should we trust Michael Massey? We've seen him be corrupted live on TV. At multiple Grand Prix, mind you. We're not just talking one Grand Prix. At multiple Grand Prix, we've seen him do this. But anyway. Last quote. This lack of people in the FIA needs to be addressed. I would like to see a minimum of 3 race directors, ideally by the beginning of next year. Cool. You want 3 directors? Cool. Right? You want your Alien X, your Triforce, your Triple Threat, your Trifecta? Cool. Cool. You can have that, Ben. Really, you can have that. But guess what? You can't have Massey be involved. You absolutely cannot. Go get Mike Gascoigne or something. Like, really, you've got a whole array of people to, you know what? Oh, this one would be highly controversial. Oh, this one would be highly controversial. But you could even get Pat Simmons. And he can be a 3rd. No, but Pat Simmons, he fixed the race. Well, at least he knows how to fix a race. So that's a good guy to have policing all these other teams who are trying to fix races. At least when he fixed the race, it wasn't for the championship. But anyway, fucking anyway, this was just for one standalone race for an Alonso. For an Alonso who's having a crap ass season after deciding to eject from fucking McLaren because he got fucking bullied by a rookie. Right? But sure, Ben, you can have 3 race directors. Can't have Massey as one of the 3 though. You can't do that. Don't even entertain this idea. Don't even fix your mouth to say it. Don't even try testing the waters or something. You can't do none of that. Why is that? Because Massey is so defamed by now that there's even football pundits cracking jokes about it. Look at this. Look at this. Martin Tyler cracking a funny. We need Massey in the VAR studio for Villa versus Manchester City Football Club. Really? Martin Tyler cracking a funny. At F1's expense. This is how much of a clown fest this Massey guy actually brought on F1. That now you got the football pundits cracking jokes. And we know all sorts of refereeing tomfoolery goes on in the football space, especially with the VAR team. We know all types of tomfoolery going on there. But look, they're in a position where they can crack jokes about this now. Why is that? Well, because they didn't risk the whole history of their sport over one guy's moments of stupidity. One man's moments of stupidity about to throw away the whole sport. 60 plus years of racing, 70 plus years of racing, about to throw away the whole sport for one guy's stupidness. The football pundits are cracking jokes now. These are the last men who should ever be cracking jokes about rules being skirted in the sport. And they're cracking jokes. That's how debased what Michael Massey did was. That's how debased it was. Even the football pundits be cracking jokes now. Listen to Martin Tyler's quote here. To sum up the situation, Tyler said, they want to go into the final day only with a win, really. I mean, you need to be maybe a Formula 1 race director if it's a draw to try and conjure a kind of result. He's talking about my Formula 1 like this. Like this. One bad race director come in who's completely unsuited for the role. One bad race director come in and look at the way they can now talk about Formula 1. This was never said before. You would never say anything like this. You would never. You could never point to a clear-cut scenario in F1's history where, oh, look, the race director really did a mazza over there. You could never do that. You could never ever do, oh, suddenly you've got your football pundits, they can crack jokes about it. And the head of the FIA wants to humor the idea of bringing Massey back, the guy who's justifying all of this type of tomfoolery and jokes about F1. Ben 10. Look, I know the degrees of separation are not all that high right now. I think we're at 2.3. It might have gone under 2 recently. Who knows? But Ben, you gotta have some self-awareness about you. You really gotta have some self-awareness. None of your predecessors would ever fix their mouths to say this shit in the same scenario you are in. None of them. Sean Todd wouldn't do it. Max Mosley, regardless of what I think about him, he wouldn't do it. Balestra, regardless of what I think about him, he wouldn't do it. Bernie would probably have you assassinated if you still owned this F1 thing, you know? Let me be real. He would probably have you silenced for good because you're talking stupidness to the media on a really, really spicy hot topic. And you're gonna try to justify your stupidness here somehow. Anyway, this is the vid. That's the vid. Peace.
Hell breezy. Let me show you how to keep the dice rolling when you're doing that thing over there, homie. Hey, let's go! Cause I'm feeling like I'm running and I'm feeling like I gotta get away. Better know that I don't and I won't ever stop. Cause you know I gotta win every day. Go! See, really wanna pop me. Go! Just know that you will never flop me. And I know that I gotta be a little cocky. No! You ain't never gonna stop me. Every time I come a nigga gotta set it, then I gotta go, and then I gotta get it, then I gotta blow, and then I gotta shut it. Any little thing a nigga think that he be doing, cause it doesn't matter, cause I'm gonna dead it. Then I'm gonna murder everything and anything about it. Boom, about a bing. I gotta do a lot of things to make it clearer to a couple niggas that I always win, and then I gotta get it again and again and again. And I be doing it to death, and now I move a little foul. Nigga better call a rap, and everybody know my style. Niggas know that I'm the best when it come to doing this, and I be banging on my chest, and I bang in the east, and I banging in the west, and I come to give you more, and I will never give you less. You will hear it in the street, and you can read it in the press. Do you really wanna know what's next? Let's go. See the way we on it, and we all up in the race, and you know we gotta go, not try to keep up with the pace. If we struggling and hustling and set it, and get it, and we always gotta